Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm your host for this evening of relaxation, and I'm so glad you could join me. If you are interrupted during this quiet time, the story time, by ads, please do know that they are not in my control just yet. The ads are being placed on my videos throughout the story and music by YouTube. Once I become monetized, I will be able to control it and disable those ads. So please continue to join me, bear with me as we go on our relaxation journey. Now take a moment to settle in, wherever you might be. Find a comfortable position, maybe on your couch, curled up in bed, or nestled in your favorite chair. Let go of any worries or stresses from your day and imagine yourself sinking deeper into that comfortable spot. If you have pillows, fluff them up for a little extra support. Maybe there's a soft blanket to wrap up in. Breathe deeply, feeling the tension melt away each time you exhale. We're going to embark on a journey together, a journey towards complete relaxation. So get cozy, get comfortable, and let's begin. Lullaby for Edith, the Quiet Librarian. Chapter 1. The Bookworm's Sanctuary. Edith was a librarian, a keeper of stories. Her world was hushed, filled with the soft rustle of pages and the gentle creak of old wood. When the library closed its doors for the night, Edith didn't simply leave. She lingered, a silent guardian in the heart of knowledge. Imagine her surrounded by towering shelves, each one a universe waiting to be explored. The soft glow of a single lamp casting dancing shadows, turning familiar books into mythical creatures. Edith would glide through the stacks, her footsteps as quiet as falling snow. In the grand room, she'd curl up in a worn armchair, a favorite book in her lap. As she read, the words would weave intricate tapestries in her mind, filling the silent library with vibrant colors and distant lands. She was a traveler without ever leaving her chair, exploring worlds of magic, mystery, and love. And then, as the night deepened, a gentle peace would settle upon her. The library would hush, its breath as soft as a summer's breeze. Edith, in the heart of stories, would drift into a slumber as deep and comforting as the old books on her shelves. Chapter 2. The Midnight gardener. Sometimes, when the moon was full and cast its silvery glow through the library windows, Edith would feel a pull towards the garden behind the building. It was a secret oasis, a place where time seemed to slow to a gentle trickle. With a small trowel in hand, she would tend to her beloved plants. Each flower was a character in her own story, their petals unfurling like pages turning. The fragrant roses whispered tales of love and passion, while the sturdy sunflowers stood tall, their faces turned towards the sun, a symbol of hope and optimism. As she worked, the city noises would fade, replaced by the soft rustle of leaves and the gentle hum of insects. Edith would close her eyes, feeling the cool earth beneath her fingers. In these moments, she was connected to something ancient, something primal. And as dawn approached, the garden bathed in a soft light. Edith would sit on a bench, a worn book in her lap. The first rays of the sun would kiss her face as she read, her spirit filled with peace and gratitude. Then, as the world began to stir, she would return to the library, ready to open its doors and share its magic with others. But a part of her world always remained in the garden, nourished by the earth and the quiet beauty of the night. Chapter 3: Winter's Embrace. Winter painted the world in shades of white. The library, too, was cloaked in a serene stillness. Snowflakes danced outside the grand windows, casting intricate patterns on the glass. Inside, the air was filled with the soft crackle of the fireplace and the comforting scent of old paper. Edith, bundled in a warm sweater, moved through the hushed library, her footsteps muffled by the thick carpet. She was a guardian of warmth in a world turned cold. She curled up in a cozy armchair near the fireplace, a cup of steaming tea in her hands, and she would lose herself in the pages of a classic novel. The library seemed to hold its breath, a silent companion in the quietude. The old wooden shelves, adorned with snow-kissed book spines, looked like a magical forest. Edith imagined tiny creatures living within the pages, hibernating until the spring thaw. Sometimes, when the snow fell heaviest, she would sit by the window, watching the world transform. The library became a sanctuary, a place where the outside world's chaos was muted. And as the snow continued to fall, Edith would drift into a peaceful sleep, dreaming of warm summers and distant lands. Chapter 4: Spring's Awakening. Spring painted the world in soft petals. The library, too, felt a renewed energy. Sunlight streamed through the windows, casting dancing shadows on the old books. The scent of fresh rain mingled with the comforting aroma of paper, creating a magical atmosphere. Edith, her spirit as refreshed as the world around her, spent her days tending to the library garden. It was a riot of colors: tulips, daffodils, hyacinthus emerged from the earth like tiny miracles. She would kneel, her fingers tracing the delicate petals, feeling a deep connection to the cycle of life. As evening approached, she would return to the library, carrying with her the garden's sweet fragrance. With a book in hand, she would settle into her armchair, the soft rustling of pages a gentle lullaby. The library, filled with the promise of new beginnings, seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the stories within its walls to be discovered. As the day faded into twilight, Edith would gaze out the window, watching the sky transform into a canvas of pink and gold. In those quiet moments, she felt a profound sense of peace. The library was her world, a place where time stood still and the magic of stories never ended. Chapter 5: Summer's Embrace. Summer painted the world in vibrant hues. The library, though a haven from the heat, was filled with the spirit of the season. The air was heavy with the scent of old books and the distant hum of the city. Edith spent her days tending to the garden, an oasis that was behind the library. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows, she would return to the cool sanctuary of the building. The library, with its high ceilings and wide windows, offered a respite from the summer's warmth. Curled up in a worn armchair, she would lose herself in tales of adventure and romance. The characters in the books became her companions. The stories, a welcome escape from the mundane. As the night deepened, The city lights twinkled like distant stars, casting a magical glow on the library. Sometimes, when the moon was full, Edith would open the library windows, letting in the cool night air. The gentle breeze carried the sounds of the city, distant laughter, the honking of cars, and the soft melody of a distant street musician. Yet, within the library, it was a world apart, a place of quiet and endless possibilities. As sleep claimed her once again, she would dream of sun-drenched beaches, whispering winds, and the endless expanse of the ocean. And with a contented sigh, she would drift into slumber, cradled by the comforting embrace of stories. Chapter 6: The Keeper of Memories. Autumn painted the world in hues of gold and crimson. The library, too, was touched by the season's magic. The air was crisp and carried the scent of fallen leaves. Sunlight filtered through the trees, casting dancing patterns on the old books, creating an atmosphere of quiet contemplation. Edith moved through the library, her footsteps echoing softly in the stillness. She was a guardian of time, preserving stories for generations to come. Her hands, worn and gentle, caressed the spines of books as if awakening sleeping giants. Each volume held within its pages a world of its own, waiting to be explored. As the days grew shorter, Edith found solace in the library's cozy corners. A worn armchair placed by the fireplace became her sanctuary. With a cup of tea and a beloved book, she would lose herself in the rhythm of words. The characters in the stories became not only her companions, her friends, her close friends, their lives intertwining with her own. One evening, as the first snowflakes began to fall, Edith stumbled upon a forgotten corner of the library. A dusty, locked door intrigued her. With a sense of adventure, she inserted the key and pushed it open. The room was filled with old photographs, letters, and personal belongings. It was a time capsule, a testament to the lives that had once filled the library's halls. Hours passed as Edith delved into the past. She discovered stories untold, lives lived to the fullest, and hearts broken and mended. Each artifact was a piece of a larger puzzle, a testament to the human experience. As she sorted through the collection, she felt a profound connection to the people who had come before her. With a gentle touch, she replaced the items, leaving the room as she found it. As she closed the door, she felt a sense of peace. The library was not just a building filled with books. It was a living entity, a keeper of memories, a bridge between the past and the present. And she, Edith, the librarian, was its humble guardian. Chapter 7: The Letters of Evelyn. Among the relics of the past, a collection of letters caught Edith's eye. They were bound in a leather-bound journal, the handwriting elegant and flowing. The name Evelyn was inscribed on the cover. In faded gold ink, it intrigued Edith, and she began to read. The letters painted a vivid portrait of a young woman filled with dreams and aspirations. She wrote of love and loss, of hope and despair. Her words were like windows into a soul, revealing a life lived with passion and intensity. Evelyn had been a librarian too, it seemed. Her letters filled with references to books and authors. There was a letter from a soldier, the ink smudged as if by tears. Evelyn had loved him deeply. Their correspondence, a lifeline during the war. But the letters ended abruptly, a cruel silence replacing the rhythm of the words. Another series of letters detailed her struggles to rebuild her life after his death. She poured her heart into her work at the library, finding solace in the company of books and the quiet rhythm of her days. Edith felt a profound connection to Evelyn. They were kindred spirits, bound by their love of books and their capacity for empathy. As she read, she imagined Evelyn sitting in the same armchair, her fingers tracing the same warm pages. The lines between the past and the present blurred, and for a moment, it felt as if Evelyn's spirit was in the room with her. As the last letter came to an end, a sense of melancholy washed over Edith. Evelyn's story was a reminder of life's fragile moments and the enduring power of the human spirit. She closed the journal, feeling a deep respect for the woman who had lived before her. And as she looked around the library, she realized that it was more than just a building. It was a living testament to the countless lives that had been touched by its magic. Chapter 8: A Visitor from the Past. Days turned into weeks as Edith immersed herself into Evelyn's world through her letters. The woman's spirit seemed to inhabit the library, her words whispering through the quiet halls. Edith felt a growing sense of companionship, as if Evelyn were a dear friend sharing her life's journey. One afternoon, while shelving returned books, a peculiar volume caught her eye. It was an old leather-bound diary, its pages yellowed with age. The name was embossed in gold on the cover: Evelyn Harper. A shiver ran down Edith's spine. This was Evelyn's personal diary, a treasure trove of unspoken thoughts and feelings. With trembling hands, Edith opened the diary. The first entry was dated the same year as the earliest letter. The handwriting was the same elegant script, but the tone was intimate, raw. Evelyn poured out her heart into the pages, revealing a depth of emotion that the letters had only hinted at. The diary chronicled her life in vivid detail. Her childhood dreams, her first love, her heartbreak, her triumphs, and her failures. It was a journey through time, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. As Edith read, she felt an overwhelming sense of empathy for Evelyn. She laughed, cried, and marveled at the woman's courage. There were entries about the library, about the joy of sharing stories with others, but there were also entries about loneliness, about the fear of the future. It was a complex portrait of a woman trying to find her place in the world. As the days turned into nights, Edith became engrossed in Evelyn's world. The library seemed to shrink, and the only reality was the one unfolding before her eyes. She felt a profound connection to this woman, but she had never met her. She felt a bond forged through the shared love of books and the written word. Each page, Edith felt a growing sense of purpose. She realized that she was not just a librarian. She was a keeper of stories, a guardian of the past. And in the moment, she knew that Evelyn's story would not be forgotten. It would live on, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. Chapter 9, A Shadow of the Past. As Edith delved deeper into Evelyn's diary, she began to feel a strange sensation, as if the lines between the past and present were blurring. The library transformed into a living entity, echoing with the echoes of Evelyn's life. In the quiet moments, she could almost hear Evelyn's laughter, the rustle of her pages, the creak of her chair. One evening, as a storm raged outside, casting eerie shadows on the library wall, Edith felt a cold dread. She looked up, startled and saw a figure standing in the doorway. It was a woman cloaked in an aurora of beauty. Her features were familiar yet tinged with an otherworldly glow. It was Evelyn, or so it seemed. Fear and fascination came over Edith. The woman's eyes held a depth of sorrow and longing. She stepped into the library, her footsteps silent on the old carpet. Edith felt a magnetic pull towards her, as if drawn into a vortex of time. They stood facing each other, their gazes locked. Evelyn's lips parted, and a whisper escaped her lips. "You have read my heart," she said, her voice like a wind chime on a summer night. Edith's mind raced. Was this a hallucination? A figment of her imagination fueled by the intensity of her connection to Evelyn? Or was this truly an extraordinary happening? As if sensing Edith's doubt, Evelyn smiled, a bittersweet expression on her face. "I am a shadow of what I once was," she said, her voice carrying a haunting melody. "Bound to this place, a prisoner of time." Edith's heart pounded in her chest. She wanted to reach out, to touch Evelyn, to offer solace, but she hesitated, unsure of what was real and what was not. As quickly as she had appeared, Evelyn began to fade, dissolving into a mist of shimmering light. A single tear rolled down Edith's cheek as the figure vanished, leaving behind an empty space filled with an inexplicable longing. Chapter 10: Echoes of the Past. The encounter with Evelyn left Edith in a state of profound disorientation. The once familiar library now held an undercurrent of the supernatural, a whisper of the unseen. Days turned into nights as she grappled with the implications of what she had witnessed. Was it a trick of the mind? A hallucination born from an overactive imagination? Or a glimpse into a realm beyond comprehension? The diary, once a source of comfort, now felt like a portal to a world she was ill-equipped to enter. Each word seemed to carry an echo of Evelyn's presence, a haunting reminder of the nature of life. She found herself spending increasing amounts of time in the library, as if seeking solace in a familiar, hoping to recapture a sense of normalcy. Yet, the library had changed. It was no longer just a place of quiet contemplation. It was a crossroads between the living and the dead. The books seemed to hold more than just words. They were vessels of memory, carrying the weight of the past. Edith began to experience strange occurrences. Shadows seemed to shift and move on their own. Books would fall from the shelves without explanation, and a faint whisper would occasionally fill the air. These phenomena sent shivers down her spine, a constant reminder of the otherworldly presence that had invaded her world. Sleep became elusive. Nightmares plagued her, filled with images of Evelyn. Her beauty twisted into something grotesque. The lines between dreams and reality blurred, and Edith found herself questioning her sanity. A growing sense of isolation enveloped her. She confided in no one, fearing disbelief or ridicule. The encounter had shattered her world, leaving her adrift in a sea of uncertainty. The once comforting silence of the library now seemed oppressive, a constant reminder of the unseen. Still, amidst the chaos, a flicker of determination ignited within her. She realized that she could not allow fear to consume her. Evelyn had shown her a glimpse of a world beyond comprehension. It was a world filled with both beauty and sorrow, a place where time held no sway. Edith decided to embrace the unknown. She would continue to explore the mysteries of the library, to delve deeper into Evelyn's life, and to understand the nature of their connection. It would be a journey filled with challenges and uncertainties, but she was determined to face it head on. After all, the library was her home, and she would protect its secrets no matter the cost. Chapter 11. The Librarian's Burden. The days that followed the encounter with Evelyn were a blur of exhaustion and fear. Edith was haunted by the librarian, a constant presence in the corners of her mind. Sleep was a luxury she could rarely afford, her nights filled with unsettling dreams and the eerie silence of the library. The once familiar space had transformed into shadows and whispers. Objects moved on their own accord. Books rearranged themselves with an eerie precision. The library was no longer a sanctuary, but a battleground between the living and the spectral. Edith's physical health began to deteriorate. Dark circles shadowed her eyes. Her appetite dwindled and her once steady hand trembled. The weight of the unknown was crushing her spirit, and she found herself retreating further and further into the world of books, seeking solace in the familiar rhythms of stories. Yet, the books, too, seemed to hold secrets. As she delved deeper into the library's collection, she discovered hidden passages, secret compartments, and cryptic symbols. It was as if the library itself was a complex puzzle, its secrets waiting to be unveiled. The more she explored, the more questions arose. Why was Evelyn trapped in the library? What was the significance of the strange occurrences? And most importantly, how could she help the spectral librarian find peace? The fear of the unknown was a constant companion. She was alone in this battle, a solitary guardian against forces she barely understood. But with each passing day, her resolve grew stronger. She would not be defeated. Evelyn's story would have an ending, one that would bring closure to them both. Edith was determined to unravel the mystery, to understand the connection between herself and the spectral librarian. And so she pressed on, her heart filled with both fear and hope, as she navigated the treacherous waters of the unknown. Chapter 12: The Librarian's Trials. Edith's day was a relentless battle against the encroaching darkness. The library, once a sanctuary, had become full of shadows and secrets. Her once sharp mind was clouded by exhaustion and fear, making it increasingly difficult to decipher the cryptic clues scattered throughout the building. The physical toll was undeniable. Her body ached with fatigue, and her once vibrant spirit was waning. The spectral presence of Evelyn, though comforting in a strange way, was also a constant drain on her energy. The fear of the unknown gnawed at her, a relentless predator stalking her every move. As she delved deeper into the library's mysteries, she encountered increasingly bizarre occurrences. Books would deviate, turning their pages spontaneously. Shadows danced on the walls, forming grotesque shapes that chilled her to the bone. And then there were the whispers, growing louder and more insistent, carrying fragments of conversations and haunting melodies. Edith's isolation deepened. The more she tried to reach out for help, the more people dismissed her as delusional. The line between reality and madness blurred, and she began to question her own sanity. The fear of being labeled crazy was as potent as the fear of the supernatural. The library's secrets were proving to be more complex than she imagined. Every clue led to another without an end. The pressure to find answers was immense, the weight of the unknowing bearing down on her. Yet, despite the overwhelming challenges, Edith persevered. A flicker of hope remained, fueled by the memory of Evelyn's gentle smile. She knew that somewhere Within the depths of the library lay the answer she sought, the key to unlocking the mysteries of the past and freeing Evelyn's spirit. Chapter 13. The Cryptic Cipher. One particular challenge consumed Edith's mind. A series of cryptic symbols, she discovered, held within the pages of an ancient tomb. They were not written in any language she recognized, and their meaning remained elusive. These were symbols scattered throughout the book, forming intricate patterns that seemed to hold a hidden code. Days turned into nights as Edith pored over the book, trying to decipher the symbols. She consulted language experts, historians, cryptographers, but none could shed light on the mystery. The symbols seemed to taunt her, their meaning just out of reach. As the weeks passed, a sense of desperation crept into Edith's heart. She felt as if she were on the brink of a breakthrough. Yet, the solution remained tantalizingly close. The pressure was immense. She knew that deciphering the code was crucial to understanding the library's secrets and, perhaps, freeing Evelyn's spirit. The more she focused on the symbols, the more the spectral presence of Evelyn intensified. Her whispers seemed to carry hints, fragments of information related to the code. But every time Edith thought she was close, the meaning would slip away, like sand through her fingers. The isolation was becoming unbearable. She craved companionship, someone to share the burden, to offer a fresh perspective. But the fear of ridicule kept her silent. She was alone in her quest, a solitary explorer in a vast and terrifying world. Despite the overwhelming challenges, Edith refused to give up. The quest had become an obsession, a driving force that kept her going. With each passing day, her determination grew stronger, fueled by the hope of unlocking the secrets hidden within the cryptic symbols. Chapter 14. A final chapter. Weeks turned into months, and Edith's life had become an endless cycle of research, decipherment, and the haunting presence of Evelyn. The strain was immense, but her determination was unwavering. Finally, after countless hours of poring over the cryptic symbols, a breakthrough came. It was cold winter when the pieces fell into place. A particular sequence of symbols resonated with a passage in one of Evelyn's letters. With a surge of adrenaline, Edith realized the symbols were a key, not to a treasure, but to a doorway. The code unlocked a hidden chamber behind a seemingly ordinary bookshelf. Inside, a small ornate desk held a single thick volume. Its cover was adorned with the same cryptic symbols, but this time they were accompanied by words written in a language Edith recognized: Latin. The book contained a spell, a ritual designed to break the bonds that tethered Evelyn to the library. It was a dangerous undertaking, but Edith was determined. With a heavy heart, she began the process. As the ritual reached its climax, the library was enveloped in a glow. Evelyn's spectral form materialized, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear and hope. Together, they completed the spell, and with a final blinding flash of light, Evelyn vanished. A profound sense of peace washed over Edith. The library, once filled with shadows and whispers, was now bathed in a soft, warm glow. The haunting presence was gone, replaced by a comforting silence. In the days that followed, Edith felt a profound sense of loss. Evelyn had become a part of her life, a constant companion in the darkness, but she also felt a sense of liberation. The library was no longer a prison, but a sanctuary, a place of peace and tranquility. Edith continued to work at the library, but her focus shifted. She began to organize the archives, preserving the library's history for future generations. She created a special section dedicated to Evelyn, a tribute to the woman whose story had become intertwined with her own. As the years passed, Edith grew old. Her hair turned silver, her steps slowed, but her spirit remained young, fueled by the memories of her extraordinary journey. The library became a place of pilgrimage for book lovers, a place where the magic of stories still lived. On a crisp autumn, as the sun cast long shadows over the library, Edith sat in her favorite armchair, a worn book in her hands. A gentle smile played on her lips as she turned the pages. The library was quiet, the only sound the soft crackling of the fireplace. As darkness enveloped the building, Edith closed her eyes. In the quiet of the night, she felt a sense of peace, a profound connection to the world around her. And as she drifted off to sleep, she knew that Evelyn was watching over her, their stories forever intertwined in the heart of the library. Let the feeling of peace settle in deeply and allow the worries of your day to melt away. As you continue to listen to relaxing sounds and drift off to sleep, remember, relaxing stories are always waiting for you right here. If you enjoyed this peaceful time, subscribe to my relaxing stories. Turn the notification bell to all to be notified, to be the first to know when a new relaxing story awaits. Now close your eyes and continue to listen to to the relaxing sounds as you sleep soundly. Thank you for listening to my relaxing stories.